for vibing with me. Who's right? LeBron James versus Stephen A. Smith. This is just a perspective, honest perspective from a big-time Philadelphia 76er fan. And I'm going to keep it all the way real with y'all, man. I'm leaning towards Stephen A. Smith when it comes down to it. And that doesn't mean I don't like what LeBron, like what he accomplished. One of the greatest basketball players of all time. In my opinion, second to Michael Jordan. But that's another story for another day. Now, my honest opinion, right? I'm just going to get straight to it. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you feeling the vibes. If you're a Sixer fan or if you just like good. We're going to be going live for the playoffs for the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. I know the Sixers ain't going to be in the playoffs, but I will be live covering the playoffs. But getting back to it, right? Stephen A. Smith, I think he's more right than anything because I didn't hear Stephen A. Smith say anything. If I'm correct, I don't know. Maybe behind closed doors he did. But I didn't see or hear Stephen A. Smith say, what's up, T.Y.? I didn't see Stephen A. Smith or hear Stephen A. Smith say, Bronny James is a scrub. Bronny James is not that, like, he should, like, be nowhere near the NBA. All I heard Stephen A. Smith say is, it's already enough pressure on Bronny, right? Bronny James, that your dad is debatably the greatest player of all time in NBA history. I don't think he's the best, but yeah. And on top of that, it's enough pressure when your father, LeBron James, says that my son, Bronny James, could play in the NBA right now, and pretty much he's better than some of these players in the NBA. You know what I mean? And Stephen A. Smith was like, you did this, LeBron. You did this. You put the pressure on him. So now, when Bronny James finally got to the NBA, he wasn't playing that well. You know what I mean? He's in the G League now. He's putting up some numbers, and I'm cheering for Bronny James. But when he first got into the NBA, people was attacking him, bro. They was like, oh, this is the guy you was talking about, LeBron? You talking all this craziness that he's better than some players in the NBA right now when he was in college, and he was just talking crazy, which a father should do. But you got to know when to say things and not to say things, because at the end of the day, you're not a normal person, LeBron. You are literally one of the greatest players of all time. Some people think you're the GOAT in basketball, right? So for you to say that Bronny James could literally play right now over some of these NBA players that's in the game right now, you put a lot of extreme unnecessary pressure on him when you shouldn't have. What's going on? What's going on? Shout out to everybody in the building. Make sure I hit that like button if you haven't already. I cover the Sixers and the Phillies on this channel. Shout out to y'all. Even if you are not a Sixer fan and you enjoying the vibes, consider subscribing. Trying to get to my first 300 subscribers on this channel. But getting back to what I was saying. You put extreme pressure on a dude, on your son, that was unnecessary. You know what I mean? And Stephen A. Smith was just pretty much calling you out like, dude, you did this, bro. You're the one that said Bronny James was better than NBA players when he was in college. You were the one that wanted him to be drafted by the Lakers, and the connections that that LeBron James has pretty much said any other team, no other team better not draft Bronny James. You wanted him to play with the Lakers that bad, right? You got your wish. But now, since he's a professional athlete, you have to take accountability, what you said, and him as a professional athlete on debatably the most famous sport franchise in the history of sports, the Los Angeles Lakers. What franchise has more famous people coming out of their franchise than the Lakers, right? So you got Bronny James on the Lakers. Mind you, he's getting, look, I'm not trying to come at Bronny James. I hope the best for him. He was getting cooked by a lot of different players, bro. He was getting cooked by everybody, pretty much. And people were calling you out. And Stephen A. Smith said, you did this. He should not be playing right now. He probably should have stayed in college for another year or put him in the G League. There's nothing wrong with that. What is your favorite Busket cave? Huh? I don't understand that question. But getting back to what I was saying, I just feel like at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith is holding you accountable for what you did when it came to your son. I think that's a blessing to have your son be in the NBA. I think that's one of the coolest things, to be able to play a sport that y'all both love before you retire, and you're still playing at a very high level at the age of 40. But at the end of the day, he said, stop begging for money. What are you talking about? But at the end of the day, you know, it's just like, you got to understand that you're one of the best players of all time. It's like, that's like Michael Jordan saying his son is better than NBA players, knowing darn well he wasn't that guy. You know what I mean? Michael Jordan's the GOAT in my opinion, but you can't put that pressure on your son and expect people not to talk about it when you was the one that promoted him and talked about him and saying that he's this guy when he's not yet. He could be that guy. He's putting up numbers in the G League, and I'm happy that he's doing good. But let's keep it real. Stephen A. Smith was right, and that's his job to talk about what's happening on the court. If he's not being personal and saying personal stuff about your son, then why are you fussing him out and making it seem as if he was coming at Bronny James like, oh, he sucks and all this other stuff? Nah, he didn't say that. Hey, bro, you look like Travis. Yo, why everybody say I look like somebody? Yo, it's so funny. That's so funny. Someone said I look like J. Cole. Someone, that's some funny stuff, man. Shout out to you, though. But it's like, what's going, like, I don't know, man. That's his job, though, is to talk about what's going on in sports. He's one of the biggest personalities in sports, and he's one of the best. And I got a lot of respect for Stephen A. Smith. Sometimes I might not agree with what he says some of the times, but he's not saying anything wrong. I don't see why. And I agree with Stephen A. Smith on another fact, because LeBron James approached him, right? And I think Stephen A. Smith is right, because he approached him and said something about his son, right? And I think the reason why he wanted to approach Stephen A. Smith possibly for a very long time, because we all know Stephen A. Smith says that Michael Jordan is the GOAT and there's no debate. So LeBron James might be feeling some type of way that you got the one of the biggest personalities in sports saying that Michael's the GOAT. If in order for him to say something without looking crazy, he went up to him and said something about his son, to use his son as an excuse to say something to Stephen A. Smith. That could be a fact. I don't know, because I don't know what's going through both of their heads. But I'm going to keep it real with you. I don't like this at all. I don't like this for the NBA. I don't like this for brothers like myself. I don't like this for Stephen A. Smith and LeBron James. Why can't they just agree to disagree and move on? Why is it got to be personal shots taken at each other? You got LeBron James posting a video on his IG when Stephen A. Smith was punching on a punching bag and he was looking a little suspect. But it's just like, why you got to go like that, man? Why can't y'all just talk as men behind closed doors and talk it out, bro? As a brother, right? It's kind of embarrassing, bro. Like, y'all two of the biggest stars, because I think Stephen A. Smith is a star. I don't care what nobody says. LeBron James is a superstar. He's, you know what I mean? They're both famous. We got two famous brothers arguing over things that they didn't have to put on social media. Stephen A. Smith's pretty much sticking up for himself. LeBron James is making it seem like Stephen A. Smith is disrespecting his son. And it's just like, I don't know, man. I'm not liking it. He said, forget both of them. They both suck. Be taking it personal against players. Remember how he did Kyrie. Yeah, look, there's some things I like about Stephen A. Smith. Some things I don't. I look at it like this. Nobody's perfect at the end of the day. People make mistakes. I don't agree with everything Stephen A. Smith said. Even with the Kyrie Irving, I agree with you with that. You know what I mean? I 100% agree with you, bro. I'm not sitting here saying none of these dudes are perfect. But my point is, these two dudes are the most famous sport. Like, you got to, when it comes to personality, Stephen A. Smith, everybody knows who Stephen A. Smith is, right? And then when it comes down to LeBron James, everybody knows who LeBron James is, right? So these two are arguing like they're little kids so the whole world can see it. And for me, it's embarrassing to me. Like, if I was Bronny, I'd be like, yo, Dad, yo, man, like, just let it go. Let it go. It's not that serious. Like, or talk behind closed doors with Stephen A. Smith. I can guarantee you that they would be cool if they could talk to each other, man, and really have a honest conversation on what the issue is. Because if the issue is that Stephen A. Smith is just saying that LeBron is the second best player of all time, what's wrong with being the second best player of all time? You're better than everybody else. You're just not better than MJ. That's all he's saying. That's all that he is saying. But I feel like egos, when you have that ego where it's just like, oh, well, no, I am the GOAT. But that's just your opinion. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. Yeah, Stephen A. Smith might be one of the biggest voices in sports, but that's just his opinion, right? Just like everybody that's on this live stream, it's your opinion on who you think is the GOAT. Somebody might think Kareem is the GOAT. Somebody might think Tim Duncan is the GOAT. Some people might think Kobe Bryant is the GOAT. R.I.P. to Kobe. Some people might think Bill Russell's the GOAT. You know what I mean? Somebody might mess around and say Kevin Garnett's the GOAT. It's just your opinion, bro. And like that's honorable. Someone said that you're the second best of all time in NBA history. How can you be that butthurt? But for the real, should not be in the NBA. Everyone knows that. In my opinion, LeBron James did this too. Yeah, LeBron, and I agree with you, T.Y. I agree. I feel like we should be able to talk about players without, we're not disrespecting Bronny James. I said it too. I said, yo, he might not be ready to be in the NBA, bro. When I seen him and people were coming at him, imagine this. Guy was on ESPN highlights, right? They were showing highlights of Bronny James, and the man only had like 3 points in the game. Why? And the only reason why they would do that is because his father is LeBron James. And the problem with that is people are going to laugh at it, and people are going to be disrespectful. You know what I mean? Because it's like, how are you showing this guy when you got guys scoring 50 points and 40 points and all these points? You're showing him because of who your dad is, man. And honestly, these two brothers got to get it together, man. For real, for real. Here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We covered the Sixers and the Phillies on this channel. Shout out to each and every one of y'all that's in the building. He said, Stephen A. Smith, he has been players for years, even when he was with Philadelphia. Like, please stop and study the history. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What do you want me to stop for? I'm just giving you my honest perspective on the whole situation between Stephen A. Smith and LeBron. I'm more on the side of Stephen A. Smith. I'm not talking about what he did in Philadelphia and what he did throughout his whole career. You know what I mean? I'm talking about this situation and this situation only. I don't think Stephen A. Smith did anything wrong unless he did some things behind closed doors that we don't know about. You should be able to talk about players. That's like me saying, for instance, right? I would talk about a player, Tobias Harris. Yo, he ain't that good, bro. He ain't that good. For him to get a max contract, I should be able to say that, bro. I should be able to say, oh, by the way, LeBron James, you're one of the greatest players of all time, but I think Michael Jordan is better than you. I should be able to say that. If Michael Jordan's son was in the NBA and he wasn't as good, well, nobody's going to be as good as Michael. Not now. Maybe not ever. I don't know. Maybe one day. But if he's in the NBA and he's a professional athlete, I should be able to talk about Michael Jordan's son and say, bro, is not good enough to be in the NBA right now. What is wrong with that? What is wrong with that? This how sportscasters make big money to tear down the players. Stephen A. got $100 million to slander players. Skip Bayless got rich tearing down players. Yeah, I agree with it. I agree with what you're saying, but I don't think he was tearing down Bronny James. I think he was being honest, bro. He was being honest. He's not ready. He's not ready, and he's being honest with what he says. My question is this: what did Stephen A. Smith say about Bronny James and LeBron James that was bad? In your opinion, what did Stephen A. Smith say about Bronny James and LeBron James that was so bad? What did he say? I just want to hear it from y'all perspective, because even me, I don't think Bronny James was ready to be in the NBA. What is wrong with me saying that? I don't think he's good enough to be in the NBA. What is wrong with me saying that? And then when it comes to LeBron, I don't think LeBron is the GOAT. What is wrong with me saying that? LeBron James is 10-4 in the NBA. Michael Jordan is 6-0. I'm talking about in the finals. And Michael Jordan is 6-0 in the finals. I think Michael Jordan is the GOAT. That's just my opinion. But what is wrong with me saying that? Why can't someone say something without people getting too emotional about what they say? If you don't agree with what they say, just agree to disagree. But I don't think Stephen A. Smith said anything wrong that was personal. It's not like he said Bronny James sucks. He should have never been in the NBA. He didn't say that. He didn't say, Bronny James, you suck at basketball. The only reason why you're in the NBA is because of LeBron James. He didn't say that. He used to dog Kobe. He used to... Why are you talking about Kobe and Barkley, though? We're not talking about Kobe and Barkley. We're talking about LeBron James versus Stephen A. Smith, bro. Mike studied Stephen A. history, and he once put out the sports analysis. LeBron James said his job was to protect his house and the players, so it might be how Stephen A. Smith talked about NBA players as a whole, not just Bronny. But he approached, this is what my counter to that though, bro. And look, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, T.Y. I'm not saying that he didn't say stuff about Charles Barkley and Kobe Bryant. But I want to stay on topic though. I want to stay on topic when it comes to this, because I don't want to go all over the place. Let's keep on the LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. I just want to know, because Stephen A. Smith said that LeBron came to him and sweared at him at halftime about his son. He was specific about his son. I want to know, what did Stephen A. Smith say about LeBron James' son? What did he say about his son that was so bad? That's what I want to know. I understand. Look, Stephen A. Smith might have teared down Kobe. He might have teared down so-and-so. And yeah, I agree. Sometimes Stephen A. Smith gets on my last nerves. He says a lot of stupid stuff but that's his opinion though. I might not like his opinion on some things. That's just his opinion. That don't mean it's a fact. I'm asking, yo, what did Stephen A. Smith say about his son, bro? He questioned LeBron's fatherhood about saying, as a father, don't do that to Bronny. I think, and you know, I think they I think Stephen A. Smith, maybe he didn't say it the right way. I'm trying to figure out exactly what he said. Like, if that's what he said, if he's saying that LeBron James isn't a good father for doing that to his son, I'm not going to go that far to say that, because I'm pretty sure this man, I don't know this man personally, so I'm not going to say he's a good father, but from what I see outside looking in, LeBron James seems like a good dude, a good father, right? I don't know this man personally. I hope the best for him. God bless him. But I think Stephen A. Smith was referring to how he promoted his son, which is a good thing. I'm not saying he shouldn't cheer for his son. I'm not saying he should say that his son is he's better than a lot of players, but it's coming from a dude that is literally debatably the GOAT. And when you put that pressure on him, he's going to get the shine that he might not be ready for. So if he's not ready for the shine, if he's not playing good and he's getting destroyed, like, let me give you an example. I'm a Sixer fan, right? When the Lakers win against the Sixers, this is true, bro. Tyrese Maxey, I don't know if y'all know who Tyrese Maxey is. If y'all know who he is, y'all know. Tyrese Maxey is one of the best point guards, young point guards in the NBA, right? Tyrese Maxey had Bronny James on him numerous times. And every time Bronny James was guarding Tyrese Maxey was destroying him in every way possible, scoring on him from the midi, turnaround midi, crossing him up, driving to the rim for an easy layup. It was just too easy, right? That's on the defensive side of the ball. Now, offensively, he wasn't doing nothing either. So it's just like, I'm not saying the man can't be an NBA player, that he won't grow into be a good NBA player. That's not what I'm saying. But I don't know the exact words. I'm going to have to look it up, the exact words that Stephen A. Smith said. But if you are questioning his fatherhood, like, all right, when it comes to basketball, I don't think he's questioning, how good of a father he is off the court. I think he's questioning, why are you putting so much pressure on Bronny James when he's just not ready? He's not ready. And I got to see the exact words. Because if you're questioning someone's fatherhood, I understand why LeBron James will be pissed. Like, that's crazy. You don't know LeBron James that well to be saying that he's not a good father. That's crazy work right there. I don't think that's smart. And we all know, hopefully there's no fight. Hopefully there's no fight. We all know if there was a fight, and I don't condone violence, I hope the brothers can get along. I hope the brothers can talk this out. I truly do, because I think deep down inside, in my honest opinion, I think LeBron and Stephen A. Smith they could have a very good relationship. They could. I think they really could. You know what I mean? Or if not, they could agree to disagree and just don't talk about each other. Just keep it where it's at. But he said, they even saying that LB is on. Who said that? You said Stephen A. Smith said that? Same thing happened to MJ. What are you talking? Are you saying that Stephen A. Smith said that they're on what? I'm not sure what you're saying, T.Y. Can you please clarify that? So Stephen A. Smith said that they're on that stuff. He said that about MJ and Allen. I doubt that about Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson was just a tough brother doing his thing. So I'm not really sure what you're talking about right there. That's where this really started, the game. Yes, and he was getting cooked. He was getting cooked. And that's not really wrong with that, because Tyrese Maxey is a very good player, but he had no business playing right now. Like, if he's not ready, don't just put the man out there because his dad is LeBron James. If I was look, I'm a father, right? If my son, if I was in the position of LeBron James, my mouth will be shut when it comes to my son, because I want him to make his own name. I want my son to make his own name. Even though he's my junior, I want him, and this is just me, I'm just talking for me. If I was in the position of LeBron James and I was an all-time great player, right? And my son was going to be in the NBA. This is just from my perspective, just my opinion. My mouth would be shut because I would want him to make his own name. I would want him to grind to get to where he needs to be. I wouldn't even want him to be on the same team as me, because that would be more of a distraction. If he was to be on the same team, I would tell him, coach, all the players, treat him like he is not my son, because I want him to earn everything. I want him to grind for everything. If he's not ready to play in the NBA, he got to go to the G League. I don't want him getting minutes just to have minutes with me. I want him to earn the minutes with me, because it'll be more legit. That's just how I look at it. But I would want him to earn it. I would not promote my son and say, oh, well, my son can play he's better than a lot of these NBA players right now. I wouldn't say that. I would say my son is good, and I can't wait to see him in the NBA. I would say my son has the potential to be very good. But I'm not going to say that he's better than that he could play in the NBA right now when, like I said, it's levels to the game. College is different from NBA. You might be good in college. You might be solid in college, but you might not be good in the NBA. Or it could be the opposite. You might not be good in the college, which this is rare. You might not be good in college, but you're okay. But when you get into the NBA, you unlock something inside you. You go to the right team, they develop you, and then you become a very good player at the next level. But I just feel like people should be able to talk about players, if that's their job, without people getting so emotionally invested in it. Like, it's not that deep. But if it's true what you're saying, that he was coming at his fatherhood, I agree. I agree with you, Big Red. If he came at LeBron James' fatherhood and said that he is not a good father, well, that's crazy. You can't tell somebody they're not a good father. How do you know he's not a good father? But then what I'm hearing, Stephen A. Smith said, yeah, he's the GOAT. He's one of the greatest of all time. He's a good father. He's good this and good that. I think it's just certain things that LeBron James said that put his son in a situation that he wasn't ready for. I think that's more what he's saying, more than anything. Shout out to Big Task in the building. Did the stream just start? Yeah, it just started like 20 minutes ago. Mike, Maxey is professional basketball player and Bronny isn't. No. You can't say that. Bronny is in the NBA. You can't tell me that Bronny isn't a professional when he's on the Lakers. He got drafted by the Lakers. So how is he not a professional? He is a professional. He's just not good. He's not good enough yet. And I think we should be able to say that. Not saying that he won't be good enough. People get so emotional. Oh, you're hating on him. No, we're just being real. We can't just say, we got to keep it real. Just like I keep it real with Joel. I love Joel Embiid. I think Joel Embiid's one of the, I don't love, y'all know what I mean when I say love. I'm talking about as a player, right? Joel Embiid's one of the most talented players in Philadelphia 76er history. But as a diehard Sixer fan, just because I love Joel Embiid's game, I could be real and say this man is never healthy. This man missed 400 games and played 400 games. The man needs new scenery and he needs to be traded. But people would be like, oh, you're hating on LeBron. I can't even say that. People be thinking I'm hating on LeBron. I mean, on Joel Embiid. I'm a Joel Embiid supporter. But anybody that knows basketball or watches the Sixers knows that this man can't stay healthy. But when I say stuff like that, people going to be like, oh, you're hating on the team. You're not a real Sixer fan. Why are you disrespecting Joel? I'm not disrespecting Joel. I'm keeping it real. The man ain't healthy. I never said he wasn't a great player. When he plays, he's one of the best in the game. But I can't say that without people getting emotional and being like, oh, you're hating on the team. You know what I mean? Like, you should be able to say stuff without people getting so worked up. But in today's society, people take everything to heart. Everything somebody say, people take it to heart. It's just someone's opinion. Just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean that it's factually true. It doesn't mean it's facts. You feel me? Like, somebody could tell me right now, hey, Mike, you're the meanest person in the world. Okay, that's your opinion. You're very disrespectful, Mike. I can't, Mike, you be hating on everybody. You don't like nobody. You this and this and that. That's your opinion. I'm supposed to get worked up and emotional and say that, like, nah, I'm like, okay, you're entitled to your own opinion. We're going to agree to disagree. I'm out. People can't do that nowadays. And hold up. He questioned LeBron's fatherhood about saying, as a father, I predict Bronny will not be it. And no, he was right. I predict Bronny will not ever be a good. See, you even say he won't be a good. I'm not even going that far though, bro. T.Y., I'm not saying that he will never be a good basketball player. I'm saying right now he's not a good basketball player. I'm not going to say Bronny James will never. I'm not going that extreme. But right now he's not good enough to be in the NBA to get consistent minutes. This is When someone continues to talk crap about NBA players and disrespect them, you can't play in the league. I would feel some kind of way. I do agree, right? All right, let me keep it real with you. And I've been keeping it real, but let me just say this real quick. Stephen A. Smith be saying off the wall stuff sometimes. I agree. Mainly, this is the player that I will say that he tear down. That y'all, I don't hear him tearing down AI. I don't think he ever tear down AI or Kobe. I don't know what he said about Kobe. I don't remember that. I don't remember him saying anything bad about Kobe. I'm gonna have to look that up. But I do remember Kwame Brown. Kwame Brown was the guy that I seen and heard some of the things that Stephen A. Smith was saying. The way he would say Kwame Brown, like the way he would be sarcastic when he said his name and stuff like that, and pretty much making fun of how is he the first overall pick and he's not even that good. I understand all that, y'all. But in this situation, I think he's right when it comes to him, Bronny, not being ready or not good enough to be in the NBA right now. But if he's saying it in a... See, I got to get to the actual videos of what y'all saying because I didn't see those videos. If he's questioning LeBron James' fatherhood, but if he's saying that a player's not good enough to be in the NBA, that's his opinion. Let the man have his opinion. But, and you can feel a type of way all you want, but let the man have his own opinion. People going to say things about you all the time doesn't mean it's true. Just prove to the world that you better than what you think. Just prove to that person or prove to the world that you're better than what people think you are. That's how I look at it. They're even saying LeBron is on. I read that. The chatter online, Mike. There will never be a fight. Blame JJ for real. He put him out there, right? Listen. You know they don't like LeBron. And look, people going to think, and then this is what people be saying, because I think Michael Jordan's the GOAT. People going to say, oh, well, you don't like LeBron James. Just because I think somebody is the GOAT that's not LeBron James does not mean I don't like LeBron James. I always said LeBron James is one of the greatest players of all time. Debatably, the greatest player of all time. Just because I disagree with people when they say he's the GOAT doesn't mean that I'm right, doesn't mean that you're right. I mean, we could agree that we're both right, shoot. In some ways, LeBron James could be better than Michael. Same goes the other way around. I mean, you know what I mean? But people, Jrue Holiday to me was not that good in college, but was great, right? It just depends, bro. Moses Malone, dude, you know him. Yeah, I know who Moses Malone is. Okay, I'm here. Big task, you. Salute to you. Look at the Ball brothers. Really, only one of them are very good. And one that so-called raps was the one that they predicted to be the best. Right. Exactly. Exactly. But the problem, and I get what you're saying, the thing about LeBron that makes it hard is because LeBron is debatably the GOAT. And when you have a son that's in the NBA and you push him to get to the NBA, I'm not saying he didn't earn it. I'm not going to say that. But did he earn to be on the Lakers? Maybe he would have been undrafted. Maybe a team like the Sixers could have picked him up. I'm just saying, they pushed it to go get Bronny James. When I say the Lakers are the most famous NBA franchise in the history of the NBA, I think that's a fact, bro. I think that's a fact, bro. You could probably say the Celtics, but the Lakers are up there. You put them, I don't know. It's a lot of pressure, man. It's a lot of pressure. LeBron James versus Stephen A. Smith, boxing. Do you think LeBron James or Kobe Bryant? You know, it's so hard. You know, I do have LeBron number 2, but if I have to really think about it, Michael's number 1 for sure, right? When I think about Kobe, it's so hard to pick LeBron over Kobe. It really is, because the thing about Kobe Bryant, right, is he's just a different type of dude. He was the closest thing to Michael Jordan. If you're the closest thing to Michael Jordan, how are you not the second best of all time? If Michael Jordan is the first best, that's just, you know what I mean? That's just my opinion. And Kobe Bryant was a score assassin. He was the Black Mamba for a reason. He was called the Black Mamba for a reason. Kobe Bryant, yes, he won with one of the greatest centers of all time. I understand it. Scottie Pippen was one of the greatest wings of all time, and, and Michael Jordan won with him. I'm not saying Scottie Pippen is on any type of level of Shaq, so don't get it twisted. But I'm just saying, my point is you have to have other great players on your team to win. No matter what. You could, even Michael Jordan had to have great players on his team to win. You know what I mean? So Kobe, he had Shaq, won some titles. I think, hold up, did he win 3 titles with Shaq? I think he won 3 titles with Shaq. Yeah, he won 3 titles with Shaq. And then they couldn't get along. And then he won another 2 titles with Paul Gasol, right? And Paul Gasol is an all-time great center as well. People forget how good Paul Gasol was. He had Ron Artest on his team. He had a good team. And but Kobe was the main dude, man. And he stayed with the Lakers. LeBron, he had to go to the Miami Heat to win with D Wade. So I don't know, man. But it's a hard debate when you start talking about Kobe. Then you talk about Magic. You talking about Kareem. You talk about I even put Tim Duncan in that conversation. I love Tim Duncan. I don't think Tim Duncan's the GOAT, but people sleep on Tim Duncan. I don't know why people don't mention Tim Duncan that much. Tim Duncan is one of my favorite players of all time, bro. I went to a Sixer game, right? And it was Tony Parker, Ginobili, Tim Duncan got the ball in the post. It was so smooth, man. And I don't say dudes are smooth, but in this case, Tim Duncan was smooth in that post, bro. He backed you down, hook shot, backed you down. He just was amazing. Tim Duncan would hit you with that midi off the backboard. Like, I don't know, man. It's hard debates out here, man. Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. never speaks on. Well, I think he talks about Larry Bird, but to be honest with you, there's not too many all-time great. I mean, there is a lot of great white players, right? I can't name them off the top of my head, but it's starting to change though, because I'm not sure the ethnicity. It doesn't really matter. I'm just saying it just for this specific what you're saying. I don't know what Luka is. Luka is definitely not African. You know what I mean? I don't think he is, at least. Luka is debatably the best player in the NBA. But what else? Who else is like really good? Jokic, debatably the GOAT, not the GOAT, debatably the best player in the NBA. He's not African. I mean, it's starting to be more of a mixture in the NBA. And Stephen A. Smith, I mean, we'll see what happens over the years. We got other players that are not African American coming into the NBA, like Cooper Flag could potentially be a very good player as well. We'll see. You know what I mean? But primarily throughout the history of the NBA, most of the all-time great players are African Americans. Just keeping it real. You know what I mean? But we'll see. We'll see what happens throughout the years. Los Angeles Lakers versus Boston Celtics was the best rivalry. Yeah, you ain't lying. LeBron James ain't in my top 5 as GOAT. Gosh, Lee. Who's your top 5 at? Who's your top 5? Scotty's son isn't bad. And Scotty's son, Scottie Pippen Jr., I like him. I wouldn't mind him coming to the Sixers, bro. Larry Bird is up there, though. Yeah, Larry Bird's up there. But there's no, they say Luka's the next Larry Bird. And I don't like even doing that. I like saying Luka's the next him. You know what I mean? Luka's just a different type of dude, bro. I don't even want to listen, people forget how great Larry Bird was. I didn't get to watch him. I wasn't old enough to be blessed enough to watch, to see his game. You know what I mean? But I think Larry Bird got 3 championships, right? Larry Bird got like 3 chips. I'm not comparing Luka to that bull. Luka got to get you 1 at least. Luka got to get you at least 1 to be compared to Larry Bird, bro. Let's keep it real. LeBron James has played so long. Of course, he's better, and has maintained a consistent pace of. Of course, he's better than who? Who you talking about? Cooper Flag going to going to the Spurs that won. You think so? Joker is the best player. Josh Giddey is getting buzzed. LeBron James put his foot in his mouth. Yeah. Did you follow Lakers versus Boston rivalry? You know, throughout the history, that rivalry was amazing. Especially when it was Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson, Kareem. Like that rivalry was probably the best rivalry of all time. Shout out to Grasshopper. The biggest rivalry. And not only is the biggest rivalry, those are the two most famous franchises in NBA history. And on top of that, not only that, those are the two franchises that have the most championships out of all the teams in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? Literally, you take it, like, for instance, right? Take the Lakers out the NBA right now, right? All the championships that the Boston Celtics have is probably more than all the championships all the other teams have all put together. Or most of it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like they have so many championships, man. Bill got 11 by himself. You know what I mean? Bill Russell got 11 by himself. Jordan 1, Kareem 2, Magic 3, Duncan 4. Let's go. Let me say this real quick. Yo, what's up, Grasshopper? Everybody hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Let me say this real quick, y'all. I respect your list. I respect your list, and I'm so glad you got my guy in there. Nobody puts Tim Duncan in their top 5. Can I ask a question? Why is that? Is it because he's not the typical dunk on you and all that other craziness? Like, he didn't have to do all that. I respect your list, bro. And I'm surprised you got Duncan over Kobe. I'm even surprised about that. To be honest with you, I'm surprised you got Kobe. Yes, but but listen, Fleet 12. For some reason, people don't respect Tim Duncan. Why is he never in the top 5 discussions? Every time I see, especially the big dudes like Stephen A. Smith or Shannon Sharp or anybody that's famous doing sports analysis or whatever, or sports content on ESPN or Fox, they never talk about Tim Duncan being a top 5 player, bro. They never do. And my question is, why? Is it because he doesn't have the what's it called? The Duncan highlights, dunking on people? That's why his career lasted so long, because he didn't have to dunk on everybody. He didn't have to jump so high. And that's why I have so much respect for Jokic, because he reminds me, look, I'm not saying he's Tim Duncan. They're two different players. But the way he does it, it looks like he's not really trying, but he's trying and he's dominating. Like, Jokic is a way better passer, a facilitator than Tim Duncan, right? But my point is, the way they play, they don't have to do all the highlight stuff, bro. They could just play and dominate. But Tim Duncan was a better defender than Jokic. And Tim Duncan has 5 championships. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it there. I'm not going, this ain't a debate, Tim Duncan or Jokic. I'm not trying to get into that. I'm just saying, why isn't Tim Duncan talked about more when it comes to the top NBA players throughout the history? I don't understand it, bro. The Spurs wanted Tim Duncan. I think they tanked to draft Tim Duncan. And ever since they drafted Tim Duncan, they were winning championships. They had a dynasty because of Tim Duncan. They had Ginobili. They had Tony Parker, one of the greatest coaches of all time, Pop. But the guy that made it all flow, and they drafted Leonard later, the guy that made it all flow was Timmy D. Tim Duncan, baby. People got to put respect on his name, bro. David Robinson and Tim Duncan, yup. Yeah. David Robinson playing that center, Timmy playing that power forward. Let's freaking go. And you know, Timmy D, he played power forward and center. You know what I mean? Duncan was more consistent than Kobe, I feel. Oh, wow. 20 years, never missed the playoffs is crazy. Thank you, Flea, for that. I didn't even know that. I didn't know that's crazy. Yo, can y'all please hit the like button? Consider subscribing. Trying to get to my first 300 subscribers. I talk about the Sixers and the Phillies But when it comes to breaking news, like topics like this, I will talk about it. The title of the video is Stephen A. Smith versus LeBron James. Who's right? And I think, honestly, now that I think about it, they both are right. And they're both wrong. It just depends on who you talk to. You know what I mean? They're both right and they're both wrong. I just wish they could squash this, man. The best thing when it comes to men, right? When you beefing with somebody, have a disagreement with somebody, the best thing you can do, you know what I mean? Either don't talk to that person no more, or y'all could talk it out and y'all could agree to disagree and just stay away from each other and have respect. That's the one problem in our community, if you know what I mean, that we don't do that enough. We can never speak on stuff, and then it gets to a point where there's no turning back. So I wish, you know what I mean, I wish for these two famous brothers to be an example for all the people, you know what I mean, for all the young men around the world. Even though you guys don't like each other, y'all can still respect each other. Y'all don't have to take shots at each other. You know what I mean? Allen Iverson, Steph Curry, both up there too. Yeah, I love Steph Curry. Duncan wasn't marketing. Yes, that's probably what it is. A small market team. If Duncan played for the Lakers and achieved the... Oh my gosh. Russell Red said the best comment on this live. That is 100% facts, bro. Red, I need your perspective more on these live streams, bro. Everybody, TY, everybody, I need all y'all perspective. Make sure y'all subscribe to this channel, because we will be, and I will be covering the playoffs for the Eastern Conference and Western Conference. We know, even though I am a Sixer fan, I know the Sixers ain't making the playoffs. We trying to draft Cooper Flag or Ace Bailey or VJ Edgecombe or somebody like that. But make sure you subscribe, Red and Chris. Subscribe, even the Laker fans, whatever fan base you're from, hit that like button. Because I like what you said. That is such a good point. Tim Duncan wasn't like when it comes to being the face of the NBA, he could never be the face of the NBA because of the market. He's not a LeBron. He's not a Kobe. He's not like it. The way he played, it wasn't, oh, I'm going to go get 60 points in a game. Duncan just played the game the right way. He could score 15, score 20, have 5 blocks, just dominate when it comes to defense. He could get you 30 points when he wants to. He was the most, like, come on, he could do whatever he wanted to, right? But it wasn't like the flashy. It wasn't, the NBA wasn't promoting him. You know what I mean? But he was that guy. So if he was on the Lakers and he won 5 championships like my guy said, that is 100% fact, bro. If he was on the Lakers, Tim Duncan would be in the conversation a lot more. You're so right, bro. That is like, I didn't even think of that. That's a good point. AI Curry changed the game for real. Bernard King talk that talk. Yeah, this is why you have to do more research sometimes, and like everything, it will go away. I'm not. Yeah, shout out to y'all. Manu Ginobili, underrated. He had a case to, he was a huge part of the Spurs. Yeah, Ginobili, he could start or come off the bench. You know another player, I love Tony Parker, man. Tony Parker was that guy, man. Tony Parker was Mr. Big Shot, man, for me too, bro. Tim kept to himself and wasn't out there. He played the game, then went straight to the crib. He wasn't, exactly. And I think that's why people were like, oh, he's not out there. He was just a great player. He didn't do all the other stuff. You feel me? There ain't nothing wrong with it. He wasn't flashy like a Magic Johnson. Like, Magic Johnson was flashy on the court. And I'm not hating on Magic because Magic is one of the greatest players of all time. He was flashy on the court and he was flashy off the court. You know what I mean? He was he's the greatest point guard of all time. I still think he's the greatest point guard of all time. People might think Steph Curry is. I don't think Steph Curry's over Magic. That's just my opinion. When it comes to the best shooter of all time, I got Steph Curry as the greatest shooter of all time. But when it comes to the best point guard of all time, I got Magic Johnson, bro. That's just me. Danny Green, Tony Parker, that supporting was on. Yeah, man. It was just a different type, man. A different game back then. I love the ball movement. The ball movement was spectacular. The ball was never stagnant. And then if it gets low in the shot clock or 10 on the shot clock, they're going to throw it right down low. Mess around, you give it to Tim, he's going to go to the free throw line, or he's going to score on you. Or if you try to double team him and get the ball out of his hand, he's a good passer as well. He could throw it to Robert Horry. He could give it to Tony Parker, Ginobili for a three, wide open for a three. That's like a layup drill. They were like the best three-pointing team, bro, for many years. That ball movement was the best ball movement I have ever seen, still to this day. I have never seen ball movement like the Spurs had. I've never seen it. But shout out to everybody in the building. I'm about to get off. Have a wonderful day. And like I said, agree to disagree. Stephen A. Smith, LeBron James, hopefully they can squash what they got going on. I hope this doesn't get worse. It's actually embarrassing in my opinion because they're two brothers that a lot of people look up to. And I don't think anybody should really take a side. I just feel like they should just come together and talk about what's really the problem. And if it's a problem with LeBron because of something he said about his father, like him being a father, yeah, they need to talk about it. But if LeBron James has a problem with Stephen A. Smith because he thinks Michael's the GOAT, that's just immature. And you're 40 years old, and that's just his opinion, though. People think that LeBron's the GOAT. You know what I mean? So just because Stephen A. thinks that Michael's the GOAT doesn't mean that's a fact, bro. That's all I'm saying, bro. 2013, 2014 Spurs were deep. They almost beat the Bron Heat in 2013 and in 2014. Right. Yeah, that was an awesome team. But shout out to everybody in the building, and I'm so happy that y'all was vibing with me on this live stream. Thank you for everybody that's rocking with me. Appreciate y'all. I will be covering the Sixers and the Phillies on this channel. And if there's any breaking news about any team like that Luka Doncic or anything like that, I will cover it. But shout out to everybody that's in the building. God bless. Be safe. You know what I'm saying? And we could all always disagree with stuff, but we can always agree to disagree with stuff. Don't take nothing personal. It ain't that serious. But again, have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend. Be safe and God bless. Peace out, y'all.